Hello everybody, and a very warm welcome each one of you to this series of Power Up Business Summit. Today being the Independence Day, I'm extremely happy to be doing this episode with Mrs. Meena Sansgiri. Freedom is something that we all aspire to have. As species, as living beings, we aspire to be free. Okay, I'll just keep this closed. We aspire to be free, and we are always looking forward to have interdependence and still be independent. So having that theme in mind, today we are having someone very special. Meera is an advocate. She specializes into matrimonial cases. She is a trained mediator and has 25 plus years of experience. Welcome, Meera. Thank you so much for joining us today, and especially on today's day, which is Independence Day. Happy Independence Day, everybody. Right? So having said that, since we have Meera here, let's just understand a few things that have always been like questions in our minds. We all love to be in this thing where we are married, we have families, we have children, and everything is so beautiful, the way it goes on for us. But still, sometimes the word divorce is, it comes with a lot of stigma, because most of the times what we don't understand is that uh, what we don't understand is the only thing that longevity is not equal to love. What is love can be defined in a different way, but divorce makes it ugly because of a lot of other things that are involved in it. So today we will just clear a few things in our head, so that we look at marriages, divorces, live-in, and any relations which are bounded by these kind of things with a little wider horizon. So I welcome you, Meera. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm repeating that again because we are really thankful to you for sparing time and coming and talking to us. So there are a few
Thank
things.
you.
There are a few
Yeah.
things that we would like to know from you. One being, of course, you also tell us about you, and which are the type of cases that are tried in a family court. So if you could throw some light on that, it'll be great.
Okay. Hello, Jaya, and happy Independence Day to everyone.
Yes.
So, today, as Jaya said, there has always been a stigma about divorces, and people are still scared of the word divorce. There are certain myths about divorce. Now, family courts are here to help people resolve their issues. Family court had started in 1989. And initially, there were only 5 courts when they started, but thereafter, now there are 7 courts. And Bombay has only one family court. So, we in family courts normally have matters regarding divorces, maintenance, custody, access, alimony. These are the cases which are held in family courts, especially in family courts. Domestic violence and all are cases which are held in the criminal cases. I mean, those are the criminal cases which go in the metropolitan courts.
Okay.
So family courts basically are for divorces and restitution and maintenance and related family issues. So now, as you have said, there are certain myths about family courts. Now, people come to me, the clients, and they come up with certain myths. A very common myth is they would always say, Madam, if the husband comes, he says, Madam, if I file a case, then I'll have to pay maintenance. So should I wait for her to file a case? So, well, that is not the case. Whoever files the case, divorce will be granted only and only if you have a good case for divorce. You have to make out a case for divorce. So it doesn't really depend on who files a case first. There are also ladies who come up saying that if I file a case, then I will not get anything. Well, again, that is not true. You will get
Right.
if you are entitled to.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's a very common myth. And Jaya, there's one more myth which is really funny. I mean, there is one section, one thing that people say that if we are separated from a husband for 7 years and more, do we get
Ah,
automatic divorce?
ah,
So,
ah.
But there's nothing as automatic divorce. You have to file a case and prove your matter, and only then you can get a divorce. So there's nothing as automatic divorce. So you have to come to family court for that.
I think I'm very sure there must be a lot of myths that we have, and it'll take like one entire session just to cover the myths.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we'll not
So
go
I
too much into it.
will not get into it. Yes, yes. This was just for a start.
Yeah.
This was just to start off. Yeah, tell me.
Right. So in family court, we only deal with those that are, about divorces, or is there anything else in family
Yeah,
courts?
as I said, it is divorces, maintenance, custody of the children,
All of
access
that.
of the children. Yeah.
Anything that happens within the family, usually is
It's all related to matters related to family, pertaining to family. So we
okay.
have also mediations and counselings done in the family court so as to resolve the issues
Right.
amicably.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that helps, like whether one should take a divorce or not, and if some kind of patch up can happen
Yeah,
between
I mean,
the
it
couples.
doesn't really see mediation or counseling, not necessary has to be together. You have to have reconciliation. Maybe parting as friends is also some kind of settlement.
True. True.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be ugly, and lawyers and counselors try to do that. Okay, that's a nice thing.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
ma'am, is there any case that comes to your mind which which we could understand as a case study? Anything you, I mean, 25 years you've been there. I'm sure there must be a lot, but any one that you can remember right now, which you might like to share with us?
So, of course, there have been several cases which are interesting, but there's one thing which I always felt, which we always, we are shocked by certain stories. So, there's one thing which I remember. So, there
Hmm.
was this girl who had approached me. It was
Okay.
an arranged marriage, and she had got her proposal from a matrimonial site. The
Okay.
family, the boy's family seemed to be a rich family. He had a huge house, that's what they said. He came to see her in a restaurant, and he came in a BMW. His family also came with him. They all moved around with the boys. They had dinner. Thereafter, the boy kept meeting her. He took her around in his Mercedes, sometimes Skoda. I mean, so she was really happy. He gave her gifts. Marriage was fixed. It was told to her and her family members that the boy was educated from US and he had several friends and he had a very good business.
Okay.
They made enquiries, but hardly preliminary enquiries.
Right.
Marriage was fixed. The boys insisted that the marriage should be in a big five-star hotel and also that they should have it in a good standard way because he had certain foreigners who were supposed to come for the marriage, they being his friends. So the marriage was fixed. They had a huge party. There were foreigners who came for the marriage. They had a good time. After the marriage, the girl shifted to his house, a small bungalow in Jew.
Okay.
Within 15 days, the boy shifted to a small house, stating that they wanted to renovate the bungalow. After a few days, the girl realized that there was no car in the house. I mean, there was not a single car. They started demanding money for renovation, or the guise of renovation. They started demanding money, small amounts, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs, something like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
So then she felt there was something wrong. So she told her parents. And when that was a shock, when they started inquiring, they realized that the boy had nothing. Everything was on rent. The house was on rent. The car was on rent. And the surprising factor was the guest, the so-called foreigners, they were on rent. And that was really surprising for me too. So everything was on rent. And so thereafter, we filed a case of fraud, and finally we had to the matter settled. But there were criminal charges against the boy, and they
Okay.
realized the girls' party realized that even the jewelry that was given to her was fake. Who really checks the jewelry?
Very true.
So it was very shocking to have confronted such a case.
Hmm.
Personally meeting some people who have been fooled like this, it was
Hmm.
difficult. We couldn't recover the money that was given to the boys. Very difficult. Very
Hmm.
difficult.
So
So it was
all
yeah,
that we thought that Bollywood writers are creating and imagining is actually true, and it
it
happens.
exactly. Even I was shocked when I got to know that the guests were actually on rent, which was
Actually,
that was
such a
that was
filmy scenario it is. But
such
I'm
a
sure she
filmy
must
scene.
have gone through a real tough
Oh
time
yes, oh yes, oh
having
yes,
that.
oh yes.
But
Yes,
yeah, so
and
if there are marriages like these, I think longevity should not be the criteria for a successful marriage.
no, 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 no. It should be a
Mhm.
happy marriage. It should be a healthy marriage. As we
Right.
rightly say, for mediation, we always use the word healthy marriage.
Very true.
So, yeah, harmonious marriage. It's a relation between both the parties. So you all have
Right.
to respect each other. So,
Right. Very true.
yeah.
But ma'am, also, is it that during COVID also the courts are functioning equally well, or if there has been a change, or it's all stopped? How is the scenario
No,
in
no,
COVID?
no. The courts are functioning, although it's not full-fledged. There's only one judge that is working, and the courts are taking matters which are absolutely urgent. And
Okay.
actually, now during this COVID, we've seen a rise of cases regarding child access. Unfortunately, children are the ones who have suffered in this. The whole process, the children have suffered. The
True.
custodian parent, that's the mother. Normally, it's the mother.
Hmm.
The custodian parent have to give access to the non-custodian parent.
Hmm.
The access is normally given in the children's complex in our family courts. But now, due to this situation, because the courts are closed, there is virtual access that is happening.
Okay.
So, virtual access has not been given free-handedly by all of them. So, the fathers or the non-custodian parents are approaching us for making applications. Family
Ach-
courts have been extremely helpful, and they have been cooperative in passing orders asking the non-custodian parents to get access through Skype, whatever, all the virtual access, and
Right.
it has been successful. So to the extent that people are getting access maybe twice a day also in absolute urgent need. So it has worked a little bit. But the courts have been really helpful in spite of all the difficulties. The judges, one judge per day is coming, attending
Ach-
the court. The courts are functioning only from 11 to 2.
Okay.
E-filing is something new that has been introduced,
Okay.
which is new for everybody. E-filing is you do not have to physically go to the courts. You can file it through sitting in your office or from your residence.
Okay.
Hearings are happening, urgent basis hearings are happening or by through video conferencing. So that's the change that has taken place now, and I hope this will continue because
Hmm.
that people are also comfortable with it.
Yeah, it becomes easy, but then lawyers need to know a lot of technology, I think.
Yeah, we everybody is struggling. True. That is something which, yeah, technically challenge lawyers like us. So with the well, we
Yeah.
have to learn, right? With the new
We have
times,
to.
you cannot lay back. So yes,
This
that's a
is
learning process.
evolution. This is
This
evolution.
is, yeah, yeah,
Also, there
yeah.
was a concept of parenting plan I had heard, and I think when we spoke,
Yeah.
also we spoke about it. I would love for our audience to know what that is. You know, if somebody is seriously now wanting to have a divorce, so how do they make it cordial for the child?
Absolutely. This is absolutely required. Here, I'll tell you, in a divorce, what happens is divorce is okay for a couple, but the
Hmm.
persons who really suffer are the children.
Hmm.
And the courts are very, very firm about this part. The paramount consideration is the welfare of the child. So the children have to have access of both the parents. It's the
Hmm.
other way around. I'm saying the children should have access of both the parents. Yes, parents should have access of the children, but so also the children. Sometimes children are comfortable in certain scenario. They are comfortable with their father's family. So the
Hmm.
courts are not inclined to remove the child from that particular safe zone and
Hmm.
take them to a new place. So the children
Hmm.
are given time.
Oh.
All this thing happens with counseling and lot of counseling for the parents and for the children. Here, the family courts have been progressive. They have planned one parenting plan. Now, what is parenting plan? Parenting plan has been drafted with help of lawyers, counselors, mediators, judges, experienced
Hmm.
retired judges. with with great help, we have created a parenting plan which helps the parents to decide exactly how they can arrange the meeting between the parents and the children
Okay.
after the divorce. So, for example, it's like they have to have 50%. The non custodian parent gets 50% of vacation access, 50% of maybe meeting a child during his holidays, taking them
Mm-hmm.
out of station. So there are certain things which are written. So there is
Mm-hmm.
also thing as joint custody, which is also one
Yes.
of the parenting plan. So joint custody is that both the parents decide jointly regarding the welfare of the child.
Mm.
So if important decisions like schooling, residence, boarding schools, over studies, I mean overseas studies, or
Overseas. Yeah.
medical
Yeah.
issues, these things are decided jointly. Now, the latest case, Ritik Roshan's case, I mean, we had spoken about it. We always quote that case because Ritik Roshan's is a it is a joint custody with the parenting plan where
Okay.
both the parties meet up only for the sake of the child. Only
Okay.
for the children, they would go out for dinners. This is what is expected of a matured parent.
Ha, ha.
It is difficult. It is difficult. It's not so
Correct.
easy,
True, true.
because one of the parties may have moved on in life. So to meet up for the children and not think about the relations that they have been into, it's a little difficult. You need to be
True.
mature. But the parenting plan helps them resolve this and have it's a structured way. It
Okay.
helps to form consent terms
Okay.
as far as access is concerned.
Okay. And does this also take care of the parents trying to poison the child's mind by, for the other parent? Is that taken care or that is like
It is. It
subjective?
is.
It
It is.
is?
Yeah, because that's very common. The custodian parent normally wouldn't want the child to go to the non-custodian parent. There is not, maximum problems are only regarding access. Family
Ah,
courts have made so many applications and orders are not followed. And I'm sure clients who have gone through this. It's so painful. I keep telling my clients, whoever are in touch with me, I'm always convincing and asking my clients to be extremely good parents.
yeah.
Don't let the children suffer.
Suffer.
But
True.
that doesn't happen. Parents are insecure, they want to hold on to the child. So that's the saddest part. Children are the sufferers.
Yeah, yeah. Let's hope that wisdom prevails and things
Yes.
get better. But
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
so much for that insight. Also, I would want us to understand that now, since lockdown happened, actually, one of the biggest reasons we wanted to do this program was because we are hearing a lot of cases of domestic violence. And people are really suffering within the house. Now, a little bit of unlock has happened, but so many cases were reported, and hence this is an issue to be really addressed. So what has been your experience? Did you get some cases like that, and how do you think this should be handled and what to do?
Yeah. So yes, there have been a rise in lot of domestic violence during this period.
Hmm.
People have lost their patience, people have lost their jobs, so there has been lot of financial problems that the couples are facing.
Right.
They are not used to being together, locked up in one small house and doing the household work. That has been a major complaint.
Yeah.
Every time a client comes up and says, oh, you know what, I'm the only one who's working and he just watches movies and that's Netflix. And so it's like it starts from it starts from a small thing and it ends up in a great war fight. As
Hmm.
it is, they are not on talking terms, and then to be stuck in one house, they are
Oh,
unable to move.
right.
A wife, I have one matter where one of the wife wanted to go to her parents house in Delhi. She couldn't travel, so she
Ah.
was on the verge of taking a divorce, but she was stuck in the house with her
Oh,
husband
oh my
and
god.
her in-laws. So that was such a terrible thing for her. So
Right.
these things have increased.
Hmm.
And but let me tell you, police have been very helpful. People are not aware, but yes, in spite of this, the police were really busy with lot of other things, but yet they
Hmm.
had one sec kept only for domestic violence. A one phone call and there would be certain people ready and willing to do counseling for that victim.
Acha.
So,
Okay.
and within 7 minutes, the police would land up in that particular house if ever they got a call from the victim's house. So that's
Okay.
how the police have been helpful,
Hmm.
which nobody has said. But I know that police have been helpful. They have been taking complaints even during this period.
Okay.
So, but then that's how it is. The people have had really bitter experiences. People have
Hmm.
also attempted suicide during this period. There have been a lot of suicide attempts during this period because out of frustration.
Oh.
So
So are you saying that taking police help is the best option right now available if in case
uh,
somebody has need?
yes, if it is really needed. I mean, if it is physical violence, or if they are unable to really bear the physical torture or the mental torture, and if it is you just cannot contact your parents or anybody, then I think you should involve the police. But that's only in very severe cases. But yes, police are ready to help. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Police are
Because so that
helping.
that looks like the easiest option right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the victims. Yes, they have the police. What I'm trying to tell you is the police are there to help. It's not that the police are not helping in this situation. Police are helping in this situation also.
Right.
They are registering cases. 498 cases, domestic violence cases are being registered. In fact, many cases have been registered for domestic violence cases. They are being registered.
Okay. 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 So one last question before we leave it open for the audience. What is that one advice you can give people to avoid courts and litigation? Like, is there a possibility? I know it's not fair to ask a lawyer
No,
of
no,
something
no,
of that
no. I
kind.
am no. I am a mediator. I'm a
Uh,
trained mediator,
okay.
and
Okay.
it's
So you
a
try
very
that it
wrong.
doesn't reach.
So
Okay.
of course. So it's a bad notion to say that lawyers break marriages. They don't.
Of course they don't. So what
They
what
don't.
do you say? What do you say?
Yeah.
What should
So
we do?
so
to-
what happens is people approach lawyers at a very later stage. It's like something like you go to a doctor when you're already infected. So there's no
Ah,
other option but to do. You cannot amend
surgery.
it. So
Hmm.
so the right approach is to, before a marriage, have pre-marriage counseling. I
Ah,
am into pre-marriage counseling, which is a new trend. But yes, pre-marriage counseling is a need of the hour. So my pre-marriage counseling started with second marriages. People
ah,
who were
yeah.
getting into second marriages, they were scared. So
Right.
that's when they started approaching, and I would do counseling for them.
Right.
But now there are also people who are doing pre-marriage counseling before it's even for the first marriage. They are
Oh,
so scared. They are so
okay.
scared of laws. And it's better. It's not to scare them. It's not to give them the wrong ideas or put negativity in their heads. It's not to show the woman that, well, you have all the rights, and see, if your husband does something, you can put him behind bars. That's not the idea.
Right.
That's not the idea. It's that it is a relationship. So marriages are made in heaven, that's what they say, but you have to you have the responsibilities here on the earth.
True.
So what, I had read something which was really funny, which said a French writer had made a statement that the best marriage would be between a blind wife and a deaf husband. Now it's the time to change this, because
Ah,
a woman will have eyes and the husband will have ears and mouth to speak. We have to have a harmonious relationship. Both of y'all have
right.
to. So these things, plus pre-marriage counseling, not only involves counseling per se as to how you, because see, when they come for pre-marriage counseling, they are, firstly, when they're coming, they're very happy. So they do
Hmm.
not know what they're going to face later. So
Very
you don't have
true.
to paint a very dark picture, not at all. But you have to give them ideas. Your children should have reality checks.
Correct.
Don't
Correct.
think that you are going to have a fairy tale life all throughout.
True.
So,
True.
those things, and sometimes more than parents, you need professional help for that.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
only that's the only thing. I mean, I think all of them, the parents will come and say, oh, this is what we've been saying. Hamara to shadi itna, what are you saying? So it's not
Ah,
that. I'm
ah,
not saying anything special. It's like
ah.
you need a professional help for everything.
Correct.
People, So that's why I think pre-marriage counseling is the need of the hour to save further damage.
Right.
Come to a counselor prior to the things, before the things get spoiled. A
Right.
lawyer will help you when things get spoiled, but a
Right.
counselor or a pre-marriage counselor will help you to save that.
Right. The precautions that are
The
needed.
precautions. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. So that helps us to not, and I think even when people are thinking of separating or they are not working out, they can still see counselors before taking the drastic decision of a divorce or something. That
Yeah,
also
I mean,
works sometimes.
that also works at times. Yes.
Right. So we already have a lot of questions coming in.
Yeah.
Start. So Ansi is just saying our marriage is on a mutual understanding. Yes, my dear, it is indeed.
Yes,
Abhijit
of course.
says, how have the cases evolved over the years? So what you must have started off 25 years back and what we see today, what is the biggest or the
Oh,
drastic?
there has been a great change. So now
Acha.
I can tell you, initially, like it's been 27 years that I've been practicing only in family courts and family matters.
Hmm.
So initially, whenever there would be a matter, the girl or the boy would be accompanied by his family members, be it their parents, their uncles, aunts, elder sister, and so many of them. There would be crying sessions and there would be
Oh.
counseling sessions before decision of a divorce. Now the things have changed. Girls have been girls and boys, for that matter, both have their own decisions. They have their own problems. They come personally. They do not involve their parents at times. In
Correct.
fact, they do not. The problems are also not pertaining to their in-laws. Initially, the problems would be mother-in-law, father-in-law. Mother-in-law would be the first victim.
Correct.
Poor thing. Now the mother-in-law and the in-laws as such, they do not really interfere.
Hmm.
It's
They're
the
out.
parties that personally, they do not interfere. The parties are staying nuclear. 90% of them nowadays have nuclear families. They do
Hmm.
not want to stay in a joint family. For that matter, even the in-laws do not want them. In-laws also would say it's better aap log alag raho, sukhi raho. So as long as you are happy. But
Huh.
that doesn't happen at times, and then they end up fighting.
Right.
And so they have started approaching a divorce lawyer independently. They do not bring their parents, they do not involve their parents. That's
Hmm.
the change.
Hmm.
The other change that we have seen is before 25 years, or maybe those years, earlier years, financial independence of a wife or a girl wasn't there.
Yeah.
Now there has been a lot of financial independence. Hence, mutual divorces are also happening by no maintenance, and just getting a divorce, or
Hmm.
parting on mutual terms. If the girl has contributed 50% for the flat, they are parting it equally. So they have their financials absolutely clear in their head,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that has also helped for taking a decision. The girls are not dependent financially, so the
Correct.
decision taking is faster.
Correct, correct. So does it also happen that after the divorces are done and everything, later suddenly, some one of them wakes up and claims some sort of money which was given earlier before the marriage? Does that hold any value?
uh, yeah, there are appeals that are there in such certain matters. There are appeals where maybe the lady has taken less money. When she took the divorce, she didn't realize what her expense would be, and she's
Hmm.
taken a less amount. Later on, under changed circumstances,
Hmm.
she thinks there has been some, she's met with an accident. Let's say, I'm just presuming, she meets with an accident, or she meets with some situation where she doesn't have that kind of financial support. They have gone back and are claimed money from the husband. That's where uh, the terms of mutual divorce or consent terms comes handy. That's the work of the lawyer,
Okay.
where this future litigation, to avoid future litigation, those terms have to be extremely clear and properly drafted when the divorce takes place. So
Okay.
that's the whole job of a lawyer.
Okay. Okay.
Don't end a matter in a hurry.
Yeah.
The consent terms have to be drafted perfect, so that the clients do not suffer for
Later on.
re-litigation out.
Yeah. True.
But
True.
there are appeals. Yes, there are appeals. Appeals do happen for children's matter, like, you know, if the children, there is always an open case. I mean, you can never have a closed thing. Access, custody, these parts are open till the child becomes 18.
Mm-hmm.
So that is always open.
Okay, okay.
So
We have Ashish Patankar. He says, "Are always men responsible?" And I think he asked this when we were talking about the domestic violence thing.
okay, so what is this question?
Are always men responsible?
Not at all, not at all. I do not agree to that. Not
Yeah.
at all. It's a very no, it's a very common thing that people fear, that it's only the men who are committing crimes, or, you know, the torture on the women. That's not true. Women have been also quite cruel towards men. So
Mm.
it's so now we've seen so many cases where women are in fact being very aggressive, and they have been misusing the laws,
Mm.
which they shouldn't be doing, you know, as a result of which men have started fearing going to courts. That's the
Mm.
reason, that's their fear. They feel that courts always protect the women, or courts always favor the women, which is not true. Which
Mm.
is not true. Courts are very, very fair, and especially urban, where women are educated, they are financially independent. Women are definitely not always the victims. There
Mm.
are men who are also equally victimized, you know.
True.
So I have matters where there has been a, we've always seen husband beating a wife, but I had a matter where he was being beaten by his wife,
Oh.
and that was so sad. I mean, it was such a bad case where the husband came and told me, madam, it is so sad, I can't even go to the police station. Not that he can't, but he
Mm.
says the police, you know, they ridicule. They say, "Arey, बीवी के हाथ का मार खाता है." Friends ridicule,
Mm.
you know. So it is really sad for men.
Mm.
It's really sad for men. I always support them to that extent, that it is not fair, but yes, it is equal. The courts are very fair. Courts can always help the victim, so you have
Yeah.
to trust the judiciary.
Right. Right. Great. So Nikita says parenting plan must be imposed for betterment of children. Yes, Nikita, absolutely.
Absolutely,
Thanks for
absolutely,
that.
absolutely. Yes.
We have Rajan here. He says, how is the situation in villages and rural with respect to domestic and women violence? How is law helping such traumatic cases?
So, well, that is the whole issue. Domestic violence is on rise, has always been on rise.
Mm.
Rural the women are not financially independent, and hence they are the victims.
Mm.
And that's precisely why the law, the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 was introduced,
Mm.
where there's lot of protection is given to women. Now rural, urban people don't really, you know, they say, no, why would a woman, you know, take nonsense from a husband? We are talking about women all over. Violence is not only pertaining to urban. Rural, yes, violence, domestic violence is always on a rise. They
Mm.
have this issue of the man being the ruler, he being the karta of the family, he being the earning member. So that's where there is financial, physical, and emotional dependency on a man.
True.
So, but the police are, and the judiciary is helpful, and they have to file a case for protection to women from Domestic Violence Act. That's the act which is being followed even in rural, and it's a very strong act.
Okay. Okay, that's very nice to know. Aarti says, what kind of counseling or life coaching is recommended for couples and their children as well as the families? Okay, and the children as well as the families to encourage a peaceful resolution or transition, especially over the long term.
So, well, yes, there has been lot of counseling. So I see parenting plan, and as you say, a coach, a life coach, or maybe counseling, that really helps. Now what is happening in during this lockdown period, people are unable to travel to a counselor. Now there have been lot of counseling which is happening on on through Skype, through on video conferencing. So these people have to be actually counseled. They have to be coached to go to a counselor. Firstly, you go to a counselor. Only thereafter you will be counseled, and thereafter you will be having some solutions. Children, parenting coaches that have been, in rage. I mean, everybody is actually helping. Parenting coaches are the must here now, because children definitely need to be counseled. They are totally the victims of these breakdown of marriages. So parenting coaches they should be in demand. They should really do a lot of work. And parents also should give their children, I mean, send them to parenting coaches. And actually, I think the parenting coaches would be guiding even the parents more than the children. I think the parenting coaches guide the children and the parents.
True.
So that is a must during this period.
Right. So Aarti, I hope that answers you. She's smiling. Thank you.
I hope that answers you, Aarti.
Yeah, it does. So we have a question from Balram Menon. He says, what is the success rate of counseling post marriage, after marriage?
That depends on when you have approached a counselor.
Ah.
So if it's at the initial stage, yes, it works. But if the person is approached a counselor maybe after 20 years of marriage, or maybe, it's like they have been, they do not want to listen. They have got enough of it. So they do not really work. The counseling doesn't work at times. Counseling also works if both the parties are really inclined for reconciliation or divorce. Whenever a couple approaches a counselor later in life, normally what happens is it is converted into divorce, which also is positive, because as I said, counseling works to helps the clients to take a decision of reconciliation or divorce. So it's not necessary. If you are looking at coming to a counselor for reconciliation, they should be coming to a counselor at an earlier stage. But if you come at a later stage, it doesn't.
Very true. I think the timing is very important.
That
Once
timing
the
is
damage
important.
is done, then I think counseling cannot do anything.
It doesn't.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Suman Sirohia says, going strong, Meera.
Oh, thank you.
Rita Oshan. Oh, wow, that's such a similar surname to mine. Mine is Obhan, is Oshan. He says, excellent insight into the issues related to marriage. Enlightenment is very important. Thanks for this session. Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
Mehul says, typically, what is the strongest time frame in which a divorce can happen under law? Shortest time frame.
The shortest time he means? Okay, so shortest time is 6. So you need, for a mutual consent divorce, it is 1 year of marriage. You can file a divorce for mutual consent, 1 year of marriage. After 1 year of marriage, there has to be 1 year of separation. And after you file a petition, it is 6 months cooling period. Okay, so the shortest would be 1.5 years.
Okay.
The shortest divorce that I've done is, the earliest I would say, is it is 2 days after a marriage. 2 days after a marriage, the couple decided because they were having a living relationship. For 4 years, they were under living relationship. Then they got married. And within 2 days, they realized that was a wrong decision. And they came to me for divorce, for mutual consent. Now, because they were married, they had to wait for 1 year. And 1 year, and thereafter, 1 year of separation. But that 1 year of separation was in that 1 year of marriage.
Right.
And thereafter 6 months. So that's the shortest that they can get divorced.
So whenever one decides, it's a 1.5 year minimum procedure.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for that. Mehul, I hope that answers you. Brenda Mendes says, hi Abhijit. Brenda here, good evening. Okay, hi. We have Aarti. She says, any progressive changes in law with regard to financial settlements in divorce?
So there have been lot of inputs. There have been lot of changes, and financial settlements are based on the finances of the parties. both of them, husband and wife. So maintenance is one issue which we haven't touched actually. So maintenance and alimony, these
Hmm.
are two aspects. And the third aspect is residence, the house. There are many clients who get confused between maintenance, interior maintenance, and residence, that is matrimonial home. That is what maybe uh, you want to ask.
Yeah.
So maintenance is decided based on the income of both the parties. The courts decide the maintenance and the alimony based on the inputs given by the parties. Inputs regarding their income, so income tax returns, bank accounts, their uh, uh, their lifestyle, their savings, so everything to do with their income, all that is considered, and also their expenses, that is their dependents, all that is considered prior to deciding the maintenance or alimony for the spouse.
Hmm.
Now here, if the parties do not come clean, they do not come clean with all the documents, then the courts have 11 factors based on which they decide the maintenance or the alimony. The 11 factors are not, I will not be repeating all the 11 factors, but I will just say the interesting ones. One is the lifestyle. And how do you decide the lifestyle? The car, in the car which the client has, the house which the client is staying, the area in which the house, he has the house, the schooling of the children if they have children, the the area of the schools,
Hmm.
I mean, maybe abroad, the faculty that the child is studying, the marriage expenses that the clients have incurred for their children, the 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 type of uh, living that the people are living, the person is living. So basically, the lifestyle, and the
Hmm.
wife is entitled to have the same standard of living that she has lived all throughout her life along with her husband.
Hmm.
The husband is bound to maintain her, but family courts do not give do not give residence. For that, you have to file for domestic violence. There you get money for residence. And that's the difference. Your family courts is based only for civil rights. You get residence orders only in domestic violence cases.
Hmm.
Family courts will give you maintenance and alimony.
Hmm.
So, but yes, those factors are considered. Accordingly, a wife will get her share. I
Okay.
hope that answers you, Aarti.
Yeah.
Meera, can I ask you one question?
Yeah, sure.
Hello. Yeah. Meera, first of all, happy Independence Day. Of course, not applicable for Abhijit. Okay.
Thank
And
you. Same
in
to
fact,
you.
behind every successful man, there is a woman. We can see that because Abhijit is really successful. And behind unsuccessful man, there are too many women. So we also understand that. Okay. So my
That's bad.
no, no, obviously
Okay.
there are, otherwise he's unsuccessful, no, because there are too many women. Okay, but anyhow, my question is, for you, what is the kind of trend you have seen in terms of divorces? Means, is it changing because the divorces are happening quickly because what is the trend? Like 3 months, 6 months, people are coming taking divorce. 1 year, 5 years, because you have such a large experience of 25 years. What is the trend have you seen, in terms of is it too premature to take the divorce, or what is that? Because let me tell you, in our days, because so that I can tell you an example. When we enter
Yeah.
into a marriage, and there was a saptapadi going on, and in front of even the that bharji, we said, ye not tumne banda hai, aap hi chodoge. Uske baad he absconded. For last 25 years I'm searching, he's not there.
You're
So just
searching it.
imagine, that's a kind of commitment. So where is that commitment? Where is that emotional bonding? Where is that understanding? And where is that trend you have seen changing? You know?
So, that's hilarious. I mean, no, it's not. No. I mean, see, the trend changes. Women are taking this decision for divorce. Men and women, both of them, they are taking
Hmm.
there's marriage and divorces are no more a taboo now. So
Hmm.
initially, yes, whenever you would even utter a word, even in the anger and in the fights, you would not utter a word divorce. But now it's not so. People, when they say they want divorce, they're very serious about it. They come for divorces, and they do not really, they take a decision of divorce, and they go ahead with a divorce. They move on in life. There have been lot of reasons for divorces now. The reasons, as I said last time, I mean earlier, that initially it was torture and harassment of the mother-in-laws and all. Now the reasons have also changed.
Mm.
There is one more thing which has come up now because of maybe a lot of other things. I will not blame a woman or a man for that. Extramarital affairs have increased, as a result of which divorces have also risen. So
Mm.
that's one of the major reasons nowadays. So divorces happen, and people have lost their patience. Whenever people celebrate their 50th anniversary or 25th anniversary, they're saying, oh wow, I cannot think my marriage would stay in for 5 years. That's the kind which is happening. Even now, the new trend which has come up now is prenuptial agreements, which are not legalized. You cannot do anything about it. I mean, you have had a legal document, you've made a prenuptial agreement, but you cannot execute it. It's not official in India, obviously. But there are people who are doing it, especially second marriages.
Mm.
Prenup agreements are on the rise. So, so I hope you. So I mean,
Yeah.
I hope your
Thank you very
question is
much, Meera.
answered.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you for the question, Sanjay, and thanks, Meera, for that answer. Let's move further. We have somebody iPad. I don't know what the name could be. Are family courts generally women oriented, or do men get a fair hearing? I think you already answered that. That is
Yeah,
very
yeah.
fair. Some anonymous says, having a loan considered when the judge decides on alimony, would it reduce the alimony amount? If there is a loan, does that affect the alimony?
It does, but then it depends on when you have taken the loan. I mean, if the loan has been taken prior to marriage, well, yes, that is considered. If the loan has been taken during the when both the parties are staying together, well, that will be considered. If the loan has been taken, there are many clients, the husbands especially, that when the case has been filed, they take a loan so that the maintenance is shown less. So when the courts are also smart, they can make out. The courts ask you as to why this loan has been taken. So the courts get into the details as to why and how the loan has been taken. So it's not always the case where your maintenance will reduce because you've taken a loan. That's not the case.
I hope that answers you, Mr. Anonymous.
Can I ask a question? My name is Deepak Khemani.
Yeah.
Hello, Deepak ji.
Yeah, so since the question was a bit long, I thought I won't type it and then I will ask it. So this question is actually two questions and I'll ask one by one. One is, you just now said that if a wife needs a residential part of the property, she will have to file a criminal case. The family court only gives her civil rights, which gives her alimony and maintenance, correct?
Yes.
Which means if she wants to a part of that residence, or she wants to be able to live in a house separately, she will have to file a criminal case where actually no domestic violence was there. You still have to file a domestic violence case to claim.
No, the question is no. It is not that. You can file. So, but when you're filing a criminal case, I mean, see, domestic violence case does not always mean physical violence. There is mental cruelty. The very fact that you are asking for a flat or you're asking for a separate residence, obviously there is some mental torture based on which you've come to the court.
No, even though there is, sorry to have interrupted you, but my thing is, if both of them have decided to go ahead in their lives to stay separately, but for whatever reason, the wife is unable to provide accommodation for herself, probably financially either illiterate or educationally not as strong
financially
to support herself. Yes. So in that case, there is no grounds for fighting for something with respect to violence, as claiming that I was mentally tortured or physically tortured when it wasn't there. Then how and why should somebody file a case like that? Isn't it ironic?
Absolutely. So you do not have to file that. But then what you're asking for is basically the wife wants us. What I understand from your question is the wife wants a separate residence.
Yes.
She does not want to make allegations against the husband,
Yes.
but what she really wants is divorce,
Yes.
because that is obviously what you are looking at. You want
Correct.
divorce and you want separate residence. That is what I get the answer. Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So in that case, now what happens is, once if you cannot file a case, you in the family courts, you have to file a case for divorce, or you cannot file a case only for residence.
Yes.
On what grounds are you asking for residence?
Yes.
When
Only
you are
when you are
asking,
divorcing. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. So when you're
Yeah.
asking for a divorce, then if
Yeah.
you're coming there, you are claiming residence rights. You are
Yes.
claiming for, as a divorce petition, you will have to
Yes.
file a divorce petition,
Yes.
making the allegations, and as a prayer, you're asking, I want divorce, I want separate residence. What you get from the family court is maintenance and alimony, that is money towards residence.
Yes.
What is money towards residence? You will get maintenance
Yes.
required for your residence. But if you think that you're going to get a house, you may not.
Yeah.
But you will have to file a case there in the family court for divorce.
Yes.
So when you're making a petition for divorce, you also have to make allegations. Because exactly, you cannot see, or else you are confused. See, you do not want to make allegations, then you have to go for mutual divorce. And when you're going for mutual divorce, that's where the help of a lawyer comes in. We have meetings where this is also very common, where both the parties have decided mutually that we cannot get along with each other. We do not want to make allegations against each other, but we want to resolve this issue. I want to be away, but I want a flat. Madam, what do I do? I only want a flat. But then there you have to have meetings. And the husband says, I will not give you a flat.
Yeah.
I will not give you a flat. You
Yeah.
want divorce, you file a case. I will
Yeah.
not give you a flat. Now, this is
Yeah.
a very key thing. And that's exactly the problem.
Yeah.
So, the courts are not going to entertain half-hearted cases. If you're coming to court and you're only saying that I have no problem, sir, I want to be away from him, but I want a house, the court will say, if you don't have a problem, then why are you coming here? Why
So
do you want to
without an
stay?
allegation, whether it be fully true or
Absolutely.
fully false or not, she will not get what she wants. It is very clear.
Absolutely.
You will have to
Absolutely.
elect something which may or may not also have happened.
Absolutely.
Which
But you
then
have to
takes me to the
understand. No,
then
you
takes
have
me
to
to the next part of the question. 498A.
Yeah.
The purpose of 498A and what it finally ended up being, hasn't it destroyed more families, more couples, more lives than the number of lives it was supposed to
True.
protect?
True. I agree. But let me tell you, 498A has nothing to do with protection of the family. It doesn't talk of protection. It is giving you protection. It is not here to protect a family. That's not the funda of 498 at all. The motive, it doesn't talk of that.
Yeah.
It is here. It has been misused.
Yes.
And because it has been misused, people have now scared, and they do not. I agree, it has been misused. But the law, when it was made made with different intentions.
Yes.
But let me tell you that it has been evolved. Initially, whenever a woman would just lodge a police complaint,
Yes.
the police would come, arrest the husband, the in-laws, without even interrogation. They
Yes.
will arrest them, put them behind bars. It's a non-bailable warrant.
Yes.
You are inside the jail, and they normally would do it on a Friday, and
Yes.
you get a bail on Monday.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Correct.
Saturday, Sunday. So that
Yeah.
was a regular thing which was being used. But
Yeah.
now that's not the case. There have been several cases which show that women have been misusing this.
Yeah.
And hence, what they have done is now interrogation is done. Husband's family is called. They speak to the husband's family. They are given enough opportunity.
Yeah.
And only when the husband does not cooperate, or if the police realize that, well, this is really serious, that's when they.
Yeah. Why I'm saying this is because in the initial few years, a lot of atrocities on the husband's and his family side happened. I'm privy to, because it happened in friends, it happened in family. And, you know, there was a TV discussion going on where eminent lawyers, women's activists and all were there. You know what reply they used to give? लेडीज ने इतने साल तक सहा है, मर्दों को थोड़ा तो सहना चाहिए. I mean,
No,
these are
that's
activists and lawyers and giving replies on national television like this, you know.
yeah,
इतने साल सहा है तो तुमको भी तो थोड़ा भुगतना चाहिए. अरे, if you are
no,
talking
no.
about a law, it has to be law. No, आंखें
It
बंद
has to
होनी
be
चाहिए ना.
fair. It
Yeah,
has to
आंखें
be
बंद
fair.
करके. Yeah, so
It has to
this
be
is how. And whenever you say it has been misused, finally it has been misused by one part of the legal system. It is the lawyers who knew the provisions and then they instigated the women to use this instrument, to use this case to file and get more. और हम उसको दिखाएंगे अभी, you know.
So that
So
is
when one part of the legal machinery doesn't work within the overall idea of, you know, why it was decided, why this law was framed to protect women, and finally it ended up
correct,
destroying families. Yeah.
correct. Because
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you
So,
so much, Meera.
Deepak ji, thank you, Deepak ji, for that question. And we just hope that, you know, these litigations and all these things don't really are not used to torture each other, rather are used for some fair and square things that need to.
It took almost 25 years for the system to decide that whatever was happening was wrong.
yeah, it is not wrong. Yeah, they
Okay,
have
I
been
think
misleading.
we will have a time crunch. So let's move on to the next question. Thank you so much, Meera and Deepak, for this conversation. So we have Sunita. She says, is the threshold of tolerance and compromise lower these days? And what is your observation?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know,
People have lost their patience. They are not willing to adjust. That is something which has been there. Adjustment is not there. They have absolutely no patience to listen to elders or to their in-laws, or even for that matter to their uh, even to their spouses. They do not want to listen to each other.
true.
They have their own views and they stick on to the views. They have to fight to prove. You do not have to fight. You do not have to be aggressive. You can be cordial enough. You can agree to disagree, but that doesn't happen. People have lost it. People have become impatient. They want to give their views and they want to stick on to it, you know. So that's the saddest
That's
part.
how it is. Yeah. So let's leave it to that. We have
Yeah.
Mehul who's asking that what if the children have turned major? How does it be handled then?
So then when the children are major, they have their own opinions,
Choice.
and it is nothing to do with family courts,
Okay.
because the family court takes them, I mean, they are concerned about the children only till the time they are minor, that is till 18.
Okay.
After 18, it's upon the child to decide. If the custody is given to one mother, let's say, and the child becomes 18, it's upon the child to decide whether he wants to go to the mother or to the father. So the family courts no more have the control over it.
Okay, Meera, I would like to ask you something.
Yes.
So Priya here. So
Yeah.
just clarify. We nowadays we are seeing that too much family interference in the husband and wife relationships or the personal matters, and due to that, many divorce cases are getting filed. So can you just throw a light on that?
So yes, I mean there have been family interference, and yes. So I would always advise that, you know, let them be, let them be on their own. Do not really force them to follow the way you have led your life. So there are in-laws which are, I mean, they have this joint family scenario. Wherever there is a joint family scenario, uh, what the mother-in-laws normally or the in-laws normally would want is that I have done this, मैंने तो सहा था, you should also be doing it. If the husband has been physical towards his wife, physical violence, and the mother-in-law comes up and says that, you know what, even your father-in-law is to do the same, but मैंने तो सहा, you should also be doing it. So this is not acceptable. This is not the way it should be. As it is always seen that women is, I mean, you know, women is the main villain. I mean, she is the enemy of the own women. And so they should always take care that they should support their daughter-in-law. If the daughter-in-law is going into, I mean, she's being tortured by the son, or the other way around. If the daughter is suffering, the daughter is torturing the son-in-law, then the mothers of the daughters also should support the son-in-law. I mean, it's not always that the daughter-in-laws are suffering. It's also the son-in-laws who are suffering.
Hmm.
So parents, if they really want to interfere, they should put proper sense in their children. It's
Mhm.
their duty as being adults, explain them, and if it's not in their control, they should send a couple to a marriage counselor.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Supriya, for that question. Meera, we move forward. Suman says, Jaya, great commendable work. Thank you, Suman. Payal says, thank you, Jaya and Abhijit, for this wonderful session. Her question is, how contract marriages play a role in India? What is the success rate? Thank you, Meeraji. God bless you. I think you've already covered this, no? That in India, it's not yet popular.
Contract marriage is marriage. Hindu Marriage Act is not a contract.
Correct.
It's not. It's only the Muslim marriages which are a contract. And if you're talking of prenuptial agreements or contracts, it is not. Though they are on rise, people are doing prenup agreements, but they are definitely not, you cannot do anything about it. You can.
Right. I hope that answers you, Payal. We have Kush, and he asks, how will the divorce proceed if the spouse disappears? Where will he disappear?
Okay, what he means is, if he's not to be found for maybe a long period of time, so
Yeah.
then what they normally do is, you have to send a notice to the last known address. You have to serve the notice of the divorce petition to the last known address, and if the last known address, in fact, even there, if it is not served, then you have to publish it in the newspaper, and thereafter the courts pass orders. So you have to take all precautions to see that the husband is served the copy before
Okay.
getting the divorce.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Thanks
hope
for
that
that.
answers.
I'm sure it does. So Brenda is asking, can the man also claim alimony?
Well, that's a very interesting question. So, yes, he can, but under absolutely exceptional circumstances. But he can. Yes, he can.
Okay, great. Uh, Akashik read. Okay, Kajal Savla is saying, thank you, Jaya and Meera. Thank you, Kajal. iPad says, great session, Meera ji. Aarti is again asking something. She says, how is mental cruelty proved in courts? What is admissible as evidence?
Well, that's perfect. Cruelty, physical cruelty and mental cruelty. Physical cruelty is easier because you have police complaints and hospital reports or whatever. But mental cruelty is the toughest. So mental cruelty depends on each facts of the case. Circumstantial evidences are taken. Many a times for mental cruelty, you cannot have witnesses. You cannot have documentary evidence. So there, circumstantial evidences are taken into consideration. Facts of the cases are considered, and each and every incident has to be explained properly to the court. That's the job of the lawyer. That's where the lawyer comes in, because the cruelty initially has to be brought out and the cruelty has to be proved. Cruelty will be different from individual. One person's cruelty may not be a cruelty to the other person. It is individual. It depends. But again, it doesn't say that you have to be sensitive. Normal wear and tear is not considered as cruelty. Cruelty has to be such a cruelty where it has to be grave in nature, but and that you are unable to bear it. You have given enough time, you have given enough opportunity to the opposite spouse, but it's not possible, and hence you have to put it properly. The cruelty has to come out properly. They need not have evidences and witnesses. No, mental cruelty need not have. It is all to depend on the circumstantial evidences.
So can I ask a further question there?
Yeah, Ati?
So, in your 25 years or 27 years of practice, how many times have you been able to, prove very successfully any emotional cruelty?
So emotional cruelty, what happens is you cannot have a number to it, Aarti. You cannot give a number, but yes, 50% of the time we are able to prove mental cruelty, 50% of the time. And the other 50% of the time we have to settle the matter and go in for counseling and settle the matter and get the clients out by mutual divorces. Because mental cruelty, as you rightly said, is tough.
And
Depends.
yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
I hope
It
that
depends
answers.
on
The other part of the question was what is admissible, because nowadays you have so much.
So that
There's
is a very individual question, and that's a very vague question. What is admissible? Because there are
I mean,
several.
what I meant is evidence, as in terms of, now there's so much technology available, all that. So out of
So
that,
you mean to say, yeah, the recordings, and so there are recordings.
yeah,
There are
because how
WhatsApp
else do you
messages.
create? Yeah,
Prove it,
yeah.
prove it. Yeah. So there are WhatsApp messages, there are emails, there are telephone calls, there are photographs. So these are admissible evidences. So there are two types of evidences. One is admissible, one is secondary evidences. Secondary evidences are you are dependent on them. For example, which is a recording. So recordings are not very easy. Many of them, many of my clients would record a fight between husband and wife and say, Madam, just listen the way he talks to me. Look at him, hear him out. But that's not accepted in the court very easily, because here for that you will have to have an expert to check out the voice. So all that is very difficult. That is secondary evidences. You are dependent on an expert to come and check out the give a notification that this voice belongs to this person. So that is not a very easy thing. Emails, yes. WhatsApp messages, yes. Photographs, yes. Letters, yes. These are some evidences which are taken up at the face value, which are used easily and which are used for mental cruelty. Plus,
I hope that answers you, Aarti. Sorry, Meera, please continue.
yeah. No, plus I would always want to say is whenever a client wants to file a case for mental cruelty, he or she has to be very, very particular in giving details, because details of your case depends on your entire experience of that incident. You cannot just have, he used to be very angry, he is very rude. No. What is rude? What words did he use? How was he using it? What were the actual words that he used? These are things which are important. That is considered in mental cruelty. When we are arguing and when we are putting up our matters, this is what cases have got dismissed on the count that we say that, sir, they have only made a vague statement. They have not used the words, which abusive language he has used. So these words are important. I think you've got my.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, Aarti, for that question. Thanks, Meera. So we have lots of questions already here. Anonymous says, thank you for the elaborate reply. Can I file for separation within 1 year of marriage? Does it make divorce smoother? Can other party object the same?
So filing divorce petition or a separation petition within a year, you have to have a very exceptional circumstances, and exceptional circumstances are the most exceptional circumstances that has been filed within 1 year of marriage is non-consummation of marriage due to impotency. This is one of the grounds, and there are several other. Maybe there is severe cruelty, but that has to be proved, and only if the court is convinced that you cannot wait for 1 year, only then it is allowed. But as a matter of right, you cannot.
Okay. I hope that answers you, Anonymous. Abhijit says, what is restitution?
So restitution is a petition filed by the spouse against the other spouse, stating if the spouse has deserted, if the wife has deserted the husband can file, or the wife can file a case against the spouse, asking them that I want to come and stay with you. So that is a case that is filed if the husband or a wife has left the spouse without any cause or reason.
Okay.
So you can file for restitution, asking them to come and stay with you.
Okay. Premraj says, great session. Thanks, Premraj. We have Aarti again. Aarti, I'll take others' questions and then maybe, I think you asked this question also. Jay Govind Tripathi says, very useful and informative session. Thank you. Thank you so much for acknowledging that. Shamal says, nice session. Questions answered nicely. Thank you, Shamal. Jay Govind says, leaving the session, some important work. Okay, we have Iona here and she's asking, how many cases have you seen where the family has been neglected due to the internet addiction by the spouse? Many families are facing these issues. What recourse does the woman have if she wishes to file a divorce? Iona?
So,
Why are you doing this? Okay.
So this could be a new ground of divorce, maybe during the COVID times, because maybe that's what are you saying? I mean, or is it addictive to net watching wrong things? So because that is one of the ground for divorce. I mean, if the husbands, there are cases where the
So
husband,
porn addiction, yeah,
yeah,
porn
yeah,
addiction
that's what.
could be one. Yeah,
Yeah,
porn
that's
addiction.
what. That's what. If that is what you mean, yes. So that is a cruelty, a strong cruelty ground. Yeah. But otherwise, I mean, that's the only thing which is being considered by the court as of now.
Oh, okay.
So that's a
Okay.
ground for divorce.
I hope that answers you, Iona.
No, that's a ground for divorce. I mean, yes, that because that shows the mentality of a person and a lot of things. So we elaborated on that, and then that's a ground for divorce.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have
But
Ansi.
that comes under cruelty.
Yeah, mental cruelty.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Meera.
Thank you, Ayana. Ansi says, thank you, Jay and Meeraji, for this insightful session. Milind Sansgiri says, wonderful session, concepts of the family law and all queries answered nicely. Attended several Power Up webinars by other speakers, never seen so many questions. Actually, this is true. I mean, so many questions are coming in. That's a good observation. Okay, we have Rajan here says, thanks Abhijit, thanks Meera. The session is really informative and we all got to know many insights of law and the way it works. Great to hear you, Meera. A power pack session. Thank you. Keep going. That was Nikita. I think we have covered all the questions and Mr. Bridge BN's MCA has raised his hand. Sir, are you wanting to ask something? Then you may please unmute and do so.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we can
yes.
hear you.
Yes. Yes. I can't.
Okay, again it's got muted. 1 second. So you will have to unmute yourself and then speak.
Okay. Now you can hear me?
Yes, now.
Yes.
Oh, suppose one of your client, okay, has
Mhm.
come to you and filed some petition, divorce petition, okay? And considering the circumstances, all allegations which he has made or she has made, okay, are wrong. You and there are proof that he is wrong. Still, you take your favor of your client, or what in that circumstances you do?
So, well, sir, I'm a lawyer. I'm not
Yeah.
a judge.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
no, but
no, so
you
that's
know
why
the facts very well.
I
Okay.
no. So
Suppose, yeah, no, what
so
client is saying, you accept it. Okay, forget.
yes.
But you know very well that what your client is saying is a liar. Okay, it cannot be proved in a court of law also. And then what you do? You try to favor your client, or no? You say no. Yes, he's my client or she's my client. I have to take her favor only.
So no. So basically, if the client is inclined to file a case, even if he knows that it's not a very strong case, he's given an insight. I mean, he's given the true picture that you may not win in this case, you may not get justice. This is told to the client. But in spite of that, if the client still wants to file a case, I have to go ahead with it. I mean,
Okay.
I'm no one here to choose a client.
Okay. No, suppose say there is file a case for a domestic violence. When you know it very well, there is no domestic violence. Then what you do?
Sir, I cannot be a moralist here. I mean, there cannot.
Okay.
There is always I have to file a case if the court, if the client is inclined to it. As long as there is no great injustice done, yes, I will agree.
Yeah.
I normally avoid to do some injustice. I mean, that is what
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
try.
Okay.
Try to put counsel. I will do counseling for my client, but at times it doesn't work. So
Okay.
you have to go ahead with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope that answers.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Meera. And we are having all thank you messages pouring in. Thank you, Jay and Meera. Balram says,
Thank you, Meera, very much.
Thank you.
he says, thanks, good lecture, great insights. Amit Vora says, very informative session, great insights. Thank you, Meera and Jaya. Aarti says, thank you for an amazing session, Meera and Jaya. Lots of clarity. Wow. So I think whatever we had thought of has been achieved. And thank you so much, Meera, from the bottom of my heart, because law is one such thing that it was made, I think, because anything fair or just when needed to be decided should be done within the limitations of everything being very focused and very cordial. But because of people who keep misusing it to harass their spouses, or remove that kind of ego trips that they have actually tried to ruin the thing. But still, it's still going great, and I have full faith in judiciary, and I'm sure that if any unjust things are being done, they will be taken care. So thank you so much for joining us today. It was a great session and so many things we got to learn. Thanks to the audience who have been here with us. It's crossed over 1 hour, and like somebody was saying, I think Milind was saying that this was the maximum question round that we had on Power Up, and that's true. But people are still with us, and I'm sure it gave them a lot of insight about things that one must know basically. So as much as freedom is important, as much as independence is important, it is essential to understand the responsibilities that come with it, and also to understand our basic rights, which sometimes we do not know, and hence we tolerate injustice. So extremely thankful to you, Meera. It was really, really good having you here, and we hope to see you soon again. Thank you, Abhijit, for helping me reach out to Meera, because I'm very happy that we did this on Power Up, and I'm sure it must have helped a lot of people. So thank you very much to you for that. Okay, Meera, thank you so much. Till we meet again.
So I think
Thank you.
I'll just say one thing. I think when you ask for an interesting case, normally I don't interfere at all, because we keep a strict Chinese wall between whatever she does. But there was one case where I know where the husband and wife had come for a mutual divorce, and the husband had an affair. And so Meera, you can tell, and the wife also had an affair. Finally, all 6 of them came to her, and she was divorced for all of them.
That was an interesting thing.
That indeed looks interesting. I think the entire Bollywood is hidden in law. Yeah, I must connect with you for my book actually for fiction. So anyways, thank you so much. Thanks, Abhijit. Thanks everybody. It was lovely having such brilliant audience, such participative audience. Harshali saying thank you, Meera. It was a wonderful session, very informative. Deepak Khemani says kudos, Jaya and Meera. More power to you. Iona says thank you, Meera. Wonderful session. So with that, we end here. Thank you so much till we meet again. And yes, we will meet again soon on the coming Friday. And our next guest is the CEO of Himalaya, the Asia Pacific segment. And it's going to be yet another amazing session. So please join us on Friday, 21st of August, 4 p.m. So thank you so much, and we meet again. Bye-bye.
Bye.